Hello, peeps. Yep, I'm back. It happens now and again. I made a big mistake. I came over to my desk and proceeded to try and clean it up from all of the stuff that I've been doing that I have been not cleaning up after. And I said, oh, look at all the pretty oh, dang. All right, time to sit down. Now, yes, I'm doing my concealer first because I just am. I really don't want to do my concealer after, in this case, because I'm thinking maybe I'll put a little bit of the glowy primer on and then set that up with one of my powder foundations, because let's get real. Today, it's kind of gnarly outside where I am, but it's not going to stay that way long. It just doesn't. Get these things like these little blue blood vessels that are in places I don't want them, as in view. And we will see how this works out. Anyway, at this point, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I have no idea what I'm going to do. That is not new. I'm thinking about spring flowers. We'll see if that works. Shake this stuff up a bit. Yeah, the Halo Glow Liquid Filter Glow Booster for Radiant Skin. And it's also pretty good as a primer. But boy, you do not need a lot. Da, 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 da. Now get me a brush and smear that out some. I love the way this stuff looks because it's got just a little hint of color to it, but it'll glow your skin up pretty good. And I like that bit, especially if I'm going to throw a bit of powder on top, because I have found that even with the powder foundations, this has a tendency to come through. And I'll take it. You know, I don't want to look like I am sweating any more than necessary. Which reminds me, it's getting close to time for me to start doing one of my favorite tricks. I am one of those people that if you look at me crossways in the heat, I will start sweating and it will run down my face in rivulets, because as the doctor says, I have hyperhidrosis. And I'm like, kiss my what? And she said, look, you sweat, you overproduce sweat. And when it gets to that point, I grab this stuff. Now, I know it says hands, body, and feet. I put a little bit around here, and around here, and around here. And it's usually enough to keep the sweat that's up here from running straight forward. I definitely like to put some through here because it keeps my glasses from sliding off. Now, this stuff, it's not terribly expensive. I got it through Amazon. I've got several different variants on it because I found several different manufacturers for formulas of this stuff. I prefer this one the most because it comes out like a bit of a gel. I haven't squoze it for a while. Come out of there, you. Da, 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 da. Too big. How come I can find anything I want except when I want it? Good question, huh? Anyway, it comes out looking more like a gel. And it doesn't try, no wonder. This is the new one. I haven't opened it yet. Duh. Duh. Fee. And some of the other ones are way, way, way runny. Run me. Now, I do suggest giving these things a bit of a shake, regardless of which brand you go with. There's this one, which is my favorite. Angie from 4F Beauty told me about that one. And then I've got a couple of others that I tried because for a little while you couldn't get the Z-Sweat in the US. They had to fiddle with the formula. And this one is just called Sweat Block. And it says it's for handies and footies. Yeah, you can tell I haven't opened some of these things in a while. They got little crusty things. And there's that one. Now this one says hands and feet. And believe me, I use this stuff lots of other places on my body because hyperhidrosis does not sit still on your face, at least not on my face. And I have some serious issues with sweat. I'll be right back. Hyperhidrosis is no fun. Anyway, now that I've got that little bit done, I'm gonna, this is my Ace Beauté eye primer. I got this in an Ipsy bag yonks ago at this point, and it's still absolutely amazing. And it literally, you take a little tiny, if you've ever done quilting, the head of a quilting pin is almost too much. little tiny, tiny drop of this stuff. See? Tiny. And it goes a long way to covering your eye. And I'm not giving it up until that little bottle is empty, because this is my absolute favorite. This is what most people would call their ride or die, or their holy grail, or whatever fancy term they've got for the bestest that they own. And let me tell you, if they ever discontinue the eye primer, I will cry big ugly tears. Big ugly tears. Now, I've got all kinds of stuff laying around here in pinks and reds and pastel-y things. And I'm going, okay, what am I going to do with it? And I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it. My belly is fussing at me. I just had dinner. Let's see. I think, I think I'm going to start with a kind of a burgundy that goes with, you know, part of the shirt. And we will see where it goes from there. We've got some flowers, a few, that are starting to peak up. The weather keeps changing its mind, which is really annoying. One day we get some really pretty weather, and then it gets cold again, and then it gets gray and rainy again, and then it warms up again. Over the last 2 weeks, we've hit 70, we've hit 30, we've had windstorms. With the windstorms, we've had low enough humidity that we were under fire watch because the windstorms were so high that if a fire got started because the humidity was so low, the windstorms would very likely cause us an issue, hopefully not near as bad, but a similar kind of issue to the one they had in California, where the winds just kept going and picking up embers and fluffing them all down the mountainside and such. I'm going, yeah, that'll be fun, because there's a bunch of people around here who have been talking about doing their first spring barbecue, and a few people around in my little, just in the edge of the hills, before you head into anything that looks like a town, that use burn barrels instead of having trash pickup. Okay, not overly offended with that. I'll be back. Alrighty. Where were we? Oh, yes. The weather. And me sticking the stuff on my eyes. Anyway, yes, I tried to do something about the sneezy factor before I got over here and started stuff and decided I was going to do things like put stuff on my face and show it to y'all. And at first, it seemed to be working okay. And as soon as I started talking, it said, oh, we're going to react to what you're doing. We will. We will just react to what you're doing. You're moving your mouth around. You're taking in a little more air. Here, let us mess your day up. Don't ask me what the names of these colors are. There's no names, not even on the back. Anyway, yes, the spring cleaning bug has hit a bit. It really has. I've been opening the windows when the weather is reasonable. Got the carpet shampooer out. Chaining up the clothes in the closets and putting away the stuff that's going to be like way too heavy for summer, so that we don't have to worry about that taking up closet space while we've got all of the stuff that we would freeze to death in during the winter pulled out. My wardrobe really doesn't change that much between hot and cold. It's the extras, like the big fluffy fleece shirts and stuff that I put on to keep from freezing. Or the big fluffy sweaters that I snuggle up into to keep from freezing. And those really aren't a lot of use during the hot weather around here. Mainly because when I say hot weather, I mean hot weather. We're in one of them places where it not only gets hot, it's hot and humid. And it's like, just shoot me. Just shoot me. And once it starts getting humid, it's scary. Because you can't breathe. The only place that's worse for humidity is someplace like Florida. How do I know? I've lived there. I lived there through 2 Cat 5 hurricanes, and then we left. And with Florida, once the humidity gets started, look, if you really want to know what it's like, take a really wet towel, throw it into your dryer, turn it up way high, And about halfway through the cycle, open the door and stick your head in. I'm not kidding. There are days where you kind of walk around going, somebody got a knife so I can slice me off a piece of air to chew on. Because it's just so thick. And that's when we found out that the autoimmune issue that I have not only doesn't like hot weather, it doesn't like anything at all to do with Florida weather. And it's like, yeah, you get some winter there, sort of. We were down in Palm Bay, not Palm Beach, Palm Bay, which is right on the coast, mostly. There's a little airport called Melbourne Airport in the next town over. And it's the nearest smallish airport that serves Palm Beach. But we're like right there on the coast. It would only take us about 10-15 minutes to get to the beaches. And when winter decided it was time to show up, I don't know who decided to let it decide on its own. I really don't. But I'm going to smack them if I find them. Winter in Florida, if it lasts a week, you're doing good. Need a clean rag for my wipe-offs. There, that's better. The other one was starting to put just as much junk on as I was trying to take off. Now I'm going to start playing with some sparkly stuff. You'd get maybe a week of winter. Don't look for it around Christmas. If it's coming at all, it's going to be late January, maybe into February. But literally, it's about a week of temperatures in the 50s. Sometimes the 40s if it's being really rambunctious. But you only have to take your sweaters out for about a week and a half, maybe. It's like you can just forget needing the big, fluffy, where'd I throw that brush? You know, the big, fluffy stuff. You just, never mind it. You don't need it. You only need to put it away. So if you go home and home happens to be up north, you're good. Because you don't otherwise need to get anything out that's going to be the least bit warm, really. People still have their air conditioning on in the winter there. They just do, because that's the way it is. It's awful. And then there's the hurricanes. Now, some of you have already heard all of this from when I was first doing this stuff. Some of you, though, may have missed one of my earlier vids that I did once we moved to Oregon, where we actually got hit by an earthquake, and the stuff on the wall behind me is rocking and rolling, and the room is shuddering, and I'm going, all right, that's enough of this. Quit it. Now, it didn't last long, and it really wasn't that bad locally because we were on the far edge of the reaction zone. It started back over in Idaho, which Oregon butts up against. But a little 6-point quake in Idaho was enough to rattle the house we were in Baker County, Oregon. And I'm going, we gave up hurricanes for what? Now, it was an interesting place being on the eastern side of Oregon. We weren't up in the quote-unquote Pacific Northwest. We were on the other side. The one that's part high desert. And let me tell you, low humidity, lots of windstorms, lots of volcanic ash picked up that had been laid down over the years by the volcanoes around the area. Yeah, we weren't that terribly far. Any of you who are into fossil hunting, we were not very far from what's called the John Day Formation. So a lot of the sand that was around the house wasn't really sand. It was broken down tuff, which is the feather light stuff that comes out of the volcano, and literally, if there's a breeze, it will stay up and just keep going. It doesn't settle down unless there's no breeze. It gets in your house, it gets everywhere. And I do mean everywhere. You are dusting constantly to get rid of it. It tears up stuff. It gets in your computer. And we used to have to vacuum out the computers a lot. It was awful. It was really just, it was a mess. Now I'm going to do something completely different. Just because I can. I'll go back over that divide with some more of the pink so that it's not quite so straight a break line there. But I'm having fun. It's not the first time I've snuck a few oddball colors in when nobody else was looking. Now, this is the Juvia's Garden, and the green is called Flower Petals, and I don't know why. It's just called Flower Petals. I would think something this color would be stems, but I didn't build it. I don't get to call it. There. Whee! Let's see. I think I've caused enough mayhem on that part. I'll have to think of something that I'm going to use for the eyeliner. I'm going to use my usual brown for the lashes. Let's see. No, that's not. I've got some water activated eyeliners that I like to sneak in now and then. I may do that one. Got a mildly metallic green in this one. And I've got, all right, where's the little bottle? There's the little bottle. A little Mayron mixing liquid and a little dish. And I put just a tiny tip of the Mayron into the little dish, because you don't need much. I take one of my little tiny fine brushes, because I think all of my bent versions are currently waiting to go in the wash. So it's still, I've got a bunch of really tiny fine brushes. I even went out and bought some of the little fine paint brushes that you use for doing things like lettering and such on paintings and doors and that kind of thing. Little tiny scroll work on stuff, and I need to wash them. Let's see. Mixy, mixy, mixy. Mixy, mixy, mixy. Let's see. What do you think? Now I've got some other colors in here, including one that's kind of a pink metallic. And I do mean it's a magenta pink. And then I've got a really, really pale baby pink in here. And then I've got a mid-tone pink, but I don't think I want the mid-tone pink. There. I think I'm going to go with that darker pink. We'll see what kind of a mess I make. Not bad. I will consider this a decent choice. At least until I screw it up somehow. Especially with the blinkety eye. Pretty good. I'll take it. Oh yeah, this stuff don't come off. Once it's on and dry, yeah, it doesn't go far. Now, let's see. I'm gonna put this in waterline down here. This one's called Teal. It's a BH pencil. Okay. Bit of a brown. Do the tight line. Now, I was watching somebody, I think it was Robert Welch. He was talking about doing your tight line first so you can get the color worked in to your lashes so you don't make a mess getting outside the line after you've put your eyeliner on. And I thought about it, and I'm going, I'll keep thinking about it, and then I forgot about it. Now, I know that I do not do things the way a lot of people say they're supposed to be done. You know, things like eyebrows before foundation and da-da-da-da-da. Eyebrows before you do your eye makeup. I don't do that either. Some of them say to do it after. I do it when I think of it. I do mine mostly just because otherwise nobody's going to see them. If and I don't. Because they're puny and pitiful. This is a little bit of that elf stuff, but it's got color to it instead of just being the clear stuff. It appears to me to blend the eye pencil in just a little bit better towards the color of what my eyelashes really are. Now, I'm going to get my Juvia's Place foundation out, and this one is in the color Madrid. It's like I'm pale as heck, but I do have a bit of a yellowy, warm undertone. So that's the way I went with the foundation powder. And it seems to be working. Yes, take it all the way down. No, really. Now, I'm going to slide off of here for a minute. See if I can deal with my nose a little bit more. Go ahead and stick the bronzer and blush and find a lip. So, alrighty, I'm back. Here we go. I even put on floral perfume. What do we think? Spring Queen is here. Now, if only I had some decent singing voice. I used to. Then I started having all these issues with my throat and my sinuses and the breathing and all that, and I kind of blew it out. It's very annoying. But there we are. Anyway, somebody else do something for spring. Somebody else do something for spring. Somebody else say to heck with the fact that I've got wrinkles. And put on some shiny. Put on a bold lip. Put on some bold colors. Look at it this way. Getting older is a privilege that not everyone gets. It really is. It's a privilege that not everyone gets. Grab that age by the tail and ride it for all it's worth. You are still alive. Live. Don't just fade away into the background because, well, aren't you supposed to age gracefully? Yeah, no thanks. I want to go sliding in, martini in one hand, cigarette in the other, and yelling, yow, what a ride. Let's do it again. I have learned stuff. I have learned stuff that I still need to tell other people. And apparently my phone wants me to do something I don't want to do. Silly alarms. It's like I have learned stuff that I need to pass on to my grandchildren. I have learned stuff that I need to pass on to other people who haven't learned yet. I earned these wrinkles. They're battle stripes. I have earned every one of them gray hairs. It's another lesson that I can teach. Yeah, all right. So I cover them up now and then with a little bit of other color. Celebrate those wrinkles. Celebrate the gray hairs. Find somebody who is asking you a question and really give them some information. Teach them. Pass it on. There's not enough people around anymore that, like, will talk to other people and go, yeah, this'll work. Or this is how you make this work. Give it a shot. Give it a try. Any of you youngins out there, that want some information on something, come on. Give it a try. Ask me. I know lots of stuff. And not just things like cooking and cleaning. I know how to write. I'm an author. I got my bachelor's degree at 62. I'm 67 this year. I got it because I wanted it. I did really, really, really hard work. I did it because other people told me I couldn't do it. I've got a coffee cup that says they told her she couldn't do it, and she did it anyway, just to piss them off. Unfortunately for me, most of the people that told me I couldn't do it have already passed on. If you're got them wrinkles and the gray hairs, pass on the knowledge. If you want to be able to get to the age where you manage to have some wrinkles and gray hairs, ask some questions. Sometimes you'll find out stuff that make it a lot easier to keep going. Love y'all.